All right, today we have a very eclectic
As
guest,
I got another rhyme, another rhythm for y'all to listen. I'm never
and
gonna get on my mission. I'm gonna roll with what I'm giving.
we're gonna get started right away because we don't have a lot of time with all the guests we have. It's really packed. I want to get started with my esteemed colleague here, James Jetta, and James. Get right into it, man. What do you got going on around democracy and voting rights and uplifting our community?
Oh yeah, thanks. Thank you, Earl. My name is James Jetter. I'm a co-founder, co-director of the Full Citizens Coalition. We are a voter protection and advocacy coalition for system impacted people and the communities they come out of. So what we do is, I guess the best way to put it in two buckets is that we go to our community to engage them on the theory, application, and outcomes of democracy, on what is citizenship and how we've been disengaged around that. And we fight to restore the rights of those who have been impacted through the system that has played a critical part in our communal disengagement, which is the carceral system through felony disenfranchisement.
That's a lot. That's a lot. So where exactly are you? Are you guys holding forums? Are you guys, so I know one of the last times we talked, you guys go out. You be on the cold, the rain,
Yeah,
heat,
yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
like mailmen beating the people where they're at. So where are some of the places that you guys are at, and what you guys have upcoming? And how can we
Oh,
help?
so yeah. So we had a good year so far on outreach. We got a chance to partner with some local businesses in New Haven and Hartford, and do voter engagement, registration, and Black census surveys. Um, and at the same time, give the community an opportunity to meet new businesses and put a little money into some small entrepreneurial startups in these cities. We've also been back in barbershop, doing our barbershop tour again. And right now, we're going into October. We're getting ready for Get Out the Vote. We want to make sure that our communities are active. We come from cities that have low turnout,
Low
and
turnout.
I don't think we are so disengaged. We don't investigate the effects of low turnout. But we want things. We need things, and so understanding how turnout affects those, we're definitely looking to engage everywhere. So we've been in halfway houses. We've been in community centers. We've been at churches. And we look to continue to just engage our community. We recently started doing mail-ins to the prisons, um, about how to engage your family while you're incarcerated.
Oh,
Like
that's awesome.
how to engage your family around voting, and we're fighting for felony enfranchisement, which is giving guys and women in prison their rights to vote back, because we understand that it's hard to have full rehabilitation without that. It's hard to have someone engage their community with ownership without that, and having it in prison. Prisons have played a crucial role since this era on disengaging our communities. It's been other things in other eras. We've always been destabilized around the vote as a people. I believe that destabilizing Black folks in this country around voting destabilizes the entire country around voting. If few of us think through uh, what democracy is, what is the theory that we're actually of government that we're operating under. It's a reason why you have 50 sovereign states. It's a
Right.
like, what I mean? So we don't really wrestle with these things, uh, with these ideas, these thoughts that produce application and produce outcomes. So we have removed that. We have a particular application that is removed from theory, and we get bad outcomes. And so, really engaging our communities on how I should care more about what you say needs to get done, and then we can work towards that, as opposed to anybody coming to us and telling us this is what they want to do for us.
As a coalition,
As a coalition, as a community,
as a community, right?
as a
Because,
community.
and I never get any of these sayings right, but you know, they say we can get more done as a closed hand working with each other, and then more so than one finger or just the hand open. So, to your point though, a couple of things to a couple of your points, because I know when I first started in Bridgeport as reentry director, you and I linked up, and as we were talking right before, we went live, and it was right before COVID, so we were in Bridgeport at barbershops talking to folks, trying to engage them around voting. Um, how do you feel your movement has been, how much success do you feel your movement has had since that time we were in Bridgeport till now? I know you had some legislative wins around getting folks on parole to vote. I know you and I worked not necessarily together, but in concert, trying to get folks that were eligible to vote access to the ballot who were pretrial in prisons in 2020. And I want to talk to you at some point about trying to do that again for this election in 2024 as well. So you have a lot going on. And then to your point about lack of engagement. So two things. At one point in New Haven, I was co-chair in my ward. And we looked at the amount of folks that were eligible to vote, which was somewhere around 2,000 to 3,000, but turnout was always 500, around 500 to 700. And then I know it's a systemic issue that goes beyond the current mayor in Mississippi, but folks are not happy with his response currently, nor the federal government's response or the state government response in Mississippi to that water issue in Jackson, Mississippi. But to your point, if folks are not out there engaged in voting, I know folks are hard pressed because again, we're talking about Mississippi. A lot of other states mirror Mississippi to keep people disenfranchised. So I get that point of it, but folks are not happy with the response. But at the same time, they've been disenfranchised for so long that they're disengaged. So it's a lot of dynamics in that.
So it's a lot of
4 minutes.
It's a lot of dynamics in it. But I think that there's a reason why no one is stopping us from protesting right now. We can make all the banners we want. We can march as often as we want. We had a national outcry for defund the police. Police departments are better funded than ever. But because we don't vote, it's because we don't have an agenda. We're not holding our employee, like, it's a job. These are jobs. The same way if you late for work, you got to answer for that. Like a lot of times people got yearly reviews with their employer. You got all these systems and metrics set up for your employment, but yet we're not holding anybody that we employ accountable. And government they're your employees. Like, we elect people to work for us. And that's the part that we've disengaged from. So we've surrendered a huge level of power and equity. Like you said, in the ward you were in, it's 2,000 registered voters. You get between 500 and 700 on the turnout. And that's on a good year. Exactly. That's when it's a big election. But as much as people take issues every year in and year out with how many people actually voted in the board of ed or voted for board of ed positions, you know what I mean? Like, where this can be, these seats are won with 300 votes because that's the turnout. And so we have the ability to change a lot of things in our community, and we're not. We're just not. Well, it's to the point where we're back in a particular relationship with government that we were in 1994, where we were crying out for certain reliefs, and what we got was a crime bill. And who's to be held accountable? How are we holding people accountable? And so, voting is as much about the power to unelect as it is to elect someone, and that that's a power, and that's a level of engagement that our communities have to move towards. Like, we have to find a way to commit to the testing of this theory. Does democracy work?
I think also so you have the fact that you have people who are disengaged. You have the fact that people are not leveraging their vote for the people that do come out and vote. Because I know one of the things that we were pushing for as a unified force in the wards with all the co-chairs was that when individuals came to campaign to us, we wanted to, one, review their voting record if they had a voting record, and two, if they didn't, we wanted to see if their rhetoric matched what we wanted as a platform. If their rhetoric wasn't matching what we wanted as a platform, then they weren't getting support.
Yeah, I think that's a great step. I think if it's a community step, if it's ingrained in the community where a community has their own platform, they understand exactly. Like, we don't have to agree on everything, but are there 5 things that we know that just need to happen in this community? And this is how we're going to vote. Not
That
screw
sounds like
parties, screw everything else. Like we don't have to have these affiliations. We're nonpartisan. It's about supporting anybody but community. If community can agree on that, then I mean we could take huge leaps.
I agree, James. And at this time, unfortunately, we've run out of time, but you and I definitely need to connect. I heard you say you were in Hartford and New Haven. We need to get you back in Bridgeport.
So, yeah, we'll definitely GOTV in October. We'll be in Hartford, New Haven, and Bridgeport. We'll be out here.
Okay. Thank
All
you
right.
for your time, good brother. Keep up the great work. I look forward to working with you again. I'm proud of you and keep inspiring. You inspire me, man.
All right, man. I appreciate you, Earl. I'll talk to you soon, bro.
Likewise. Hello, folks. Hello, Mr. Diamond. You're muted. You got to unmute. There you go.
We're good.
We're good. Okay, folks. We're keeping the train moving. We got a few guests to get to. Unfortunately, we don't have as much time as I would like with everybody, but I want to get these people time to share the great work that they're doing on this platform. So without further ado, Mr. Diamond, if you could introduce yourself and your program and the work that you're doing.
Sure, thank you. My name is Barry Diamond. I'm the Executive Director of Pride International Training Programs. We're in the 10th year. It's our anniversary. What we do is we have, thank you. We have a program called Be the Boss, and it's at the University of Bridgeport, and we train released inmates how to go into business for themselves. We teach them banking, law, insurance, accounting, marketing, sales, you name it. We do everything there. What makes the program different and unique is that we've discovered that people that come out of prison, they're not ready to learn. And so the first thing we do is we train them how to get mentally prepared so that they can come back to learning, making decisions, and then we teach them the data and the information that's necessary. The course is unique enough that the government has given us a copyright on the material, so it's a little bit different. The other thing is that if the people are a Bridgeport resident, that they're eligible on graduation for an 18 college credit course at the University of Bridgeport. As well as after they complete it, they get $1,000 money to help them with their business. We pay for the registration. They get mentors and also contacts with local banks. So it is a real easy way for people that come out to get back involved, to financially be responsible, because most people have difficulty getting back and getting a job. And a lot of this has been due to Earl and the Myra program in Bridgeport. And so the anniversary is the 10th year in Bridgeport doing it. The other thing is that we are approved by the state and federal alternatives sentencing court, which means instead of going to prison, somebody can take our course and do not necessarily get sentenced to prison, or if they are from prison and on probation, they can get up to a year off their sentence and their probation simply by taking our program. So it really is a well-respected program and has a big impact on what's happening in the community. The other thing is that we have a Home for Good telephone program that is installed first in the Bridgeport Welcome Center, where somebody gets a free phone service and unlimited texting and unlimited phone calling. And embedded right in the phone that they get is a financial literacy program for training. There is an entrepreneurial sign-up sheet for the course. They're allowed to go into a credit union and get a bank account there, as well as the local reentry services directory. So they will know where in Bridgeport they can get service for food, for rent, for heat, whatever it is that is required to get them a little bit more settled. And of course, in our spare time, we have classrooms and prison training and Zoom training in Africa, in Nigeria, Uganda, and Kenya. And so that's the reason why we've become international. We think that somebody who comes out of prison needs as much help as they can. And Bridgeport community has embraced our program and assisted in us getting to the people coming out, as well as helping us in many, many ways. So we appreciate that. The story is fast, the story is furious, and it does the job that Bridgeport needs at this point.
Mr. Diamond, I thank you for that. And I first met you a few years ago before I even got in Bridgeport. And then when I got in Bridgeport, we got a chance to connect, although it didn't exactly work how I wanted it. I was able to help you somewhat. And then, as damaging as COVID was, there were also some benefits from COVID. And through that, we got the ARPA funding, which the city of Bridgeport was gracious enough to allocate almost $4.3 million to reentry in the city of Bridgeport, which is transforming Bridgeport, which allowed the Welcome Center to be open and funding to go to the University of Bridgeport for entrepreneurial programs for formerly incarcerated, and also included you in that. So, anything that we can do to help the reentry population, we're going to do it. And you said a bunch of stuff that you guys are doing. I don't want people to think, you said it's your 10-year anniversary. I don't want people to think, a lot of times people think, oh, these people have been here, they have overnight success. You've been grinding at this for 10 years, and you were doing this out of at your own expense.
That's
for
correct.
The majority of the 10 years that you've been doing this, with the success rate that you've had.
Yeah, my family has financially supported the program, and we think it is so necessary. And we do really appreciate that you felt that we were good enough that we could get some help from the city, from the rescue program, and get some money coming in. But we will continue to support, we'll continue to do what we need, and we'll continue to grow into new things that are coming out into Bridgeport. And as long as we're here, we've got succession people. We're looking to turn this into a legacy program where after I'm gone, it'll be continuing. So we're here. We're here to stay.
Awesome. And hopefully you're not going anytime soon. You're doing great work out there, Mr. Diamond. We really appreciate all the people that you've helped, and then by extension, helping the community as people start their own business. It enriches the entire community.
Thank you so much. And it's a pleasure to be connected to Bridgeport and to Myra program.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. You and the people that you work with and that I work with as well. It speaks a lot about perseverance and about uplift in the community. So we want to continue the partnership and much more success.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure.
All right, sir. Thank you. Oh, before we go though, is there any upcoming events that you have or anything? Or anything that anybody else should know, or anything else anybody should know about that you have going on? I know you mentioned the credit union and the phone program.
Yes, yeah, we have. Yeah, we have. We're working on looking for funding for the credit union. We have been approved. The filing has been approved, so we can get started a credit union that is strictly for reentry people. We would be starting in the city of Bridgeport, opening up the first branch in the country. So anybody that has any loose change, we're only looking to raise $2 million. So that'll get us started. The beauty of it is that the final forms have been approved. And so the Credit Union Association has sanctioned us and allowed us to go forward. So now we're in the process of just, looking for people that want to invest in it and getting it going. It will become all over the state of Connecticut and then going into all other states in the United States. But the decision by myself was to start it in Bridgeport because this is where I'm from. And so that's where we are. You know, we're looking to work with Homebridge on a community center that they're looking to give facilities and training, as well as a place where people can be. We're looking to partner with them. We're starting to step up where we're partnering and our contribution to other organizations that need our input, our help, and also you know, starting the wheels turning for looking for grants that will support ours as well as other organizations that are getting going and they're not where we are yet.
Collaboration is key. I think that's the way we succeed.
Yeah, we all have to stick together, and whatever we can do to help each other, you know, we have to understand that one person and one organization can't do it. We need to lend our expertise and help to others that are coming up and growing and are in another direction, but helping the reentry population. And so we serve a particular reentry. We're in education, and we're in entrepreneurship education and communication education with the phone. The other areas are people that are starting to say, well, maybe we should get together and form a bigger unit and go for funding for a bigger unit. So that's where we are. We're not stopping. We're looking into what is required, what is still needed, and look for partners that we can get together and go for the bigger picture.
Great. Thanks again for your time, Mr. Diamond. We'll be in touch. I believe we have some workbooks printed out for you, so we'll be getting those over to you.
Thank you so much.
You have a blessed day, sir. Pleasure to speak with you and pleasure to work with you.
Same. Have a great day, Earl.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
All right, folks. So we were expecting a couple of other guests, but they have not as of yet shown up. So I'll take this time to talk about some of the programming that I know that's going on out in the community. And if you have questions, you can reach me at myra.service@bridgeportct.gov. And we can get some of these flyers out. And if you go on the website for the city of Bridgeport, you can access Myra, the program that I'm overseeing for the reentry department for the city of Bridgeport. And you can be added to our distribution and mailing list. And we can get some of this information out to you about these great programs that are some Bridgeport centric and some statewide. One of the things I want to quickly talk about is there is the Project Earl going on at Yale, and I'll get these flyers out to those that are interested. They are this project goal is to create an app to help formerly incarcerated individuals stay organized with information that is important to them, as well as connect them to resources including housing, jobs, food, medical resources, and more. They're designing the app by receiving input from formerly incarcerated individuals on what would be helpful for them upon re-entering their community, and individuals who help this community upon discharge, and the many barriers that are faced during this transition process from both sides. They are also conducting stakeholder interviews with discharge planners, case managers, directors from reentry programs to help them better understand the positive and negative of serving formerly incarcerated persons with many barriers to transitions back into the community. They also want to receive feedback from stakeholders about their app development. The information is important for them and supporting justice involved individuals get access to what they need and increase their self-efficacy. They are hoping to partner with reentry organizations to help find persons who may be interested in participating in their interview process, They've interviewed several men and women previously released within the past 6 months to a year, and have learned very much about what helps them access care, housing, IDs, etc. In addition, the Pearl app interviews are also recruiting Black women for focus groups. Their goal for the focus group is to better understand the needs and preferences for content on mental health care and social support in the Pearl mobile app. They invite those who have been released from correctional facilities within the last 12 months and speak English. The group sessions will take approximately 1 hour, and the participants will be given a $50 gift card. So there you have it as it relates to Earl. And we have information on those, on the interviews, as well as their outreach. And they're doing work in the greater New Haven community, as well as in the city of Bridgeport. I believe they will be speaking at the next Bridgeport Roundtable in Bridgeport next month, which takes place every third Thursday of the month at 9 a.m. It's both a hybrid meeting. It's virtual and in person. It takes place at the Borough Center on Fairfield Ave in Bridgeport. Waiting to see. My next guest is coming up from UNH. There's some information that they wanted to share with us around police accountability. And just give me one moment.
You're listening to the Tom Ficklin Show on WNHH LP 103.5 FM, your home for community radio. Yeah, Earl, there's no one in the waiting room.
All right, let me see here. Give me one more. Thanks, Harry. What do you think so far about the subject matter, Harry? I always like talking to you in between.
Well, re-entry it's an interesting subject these days, right? Because we see what's going on in the nation when it comes to crime. Crime is way up. And
yep,
there's a lot of people blaming, re-entry.
They are, and I think you and I talked a little bit about this previously. It's not necessarily reentry that's causing an uptick in some of the issues. Those issues were already there, and it's been exacerbated by the pandemic, with people not having enough resources. And in point of fact, if you go through the national numbers, crime has been down.
So you're looking at an overall look at it, like crime being down in the last few years, because violent crime is up. So it's like
we're gonna have to look at each other's numbers, because I get my numbers from the Department of Justice.
Yeah, I do the same. I go to the FBI website actually.
Okay.
And
we should have a show just on this topic, because I really want to talk to you more in depthly about this.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's a totally different thing, and the problem is now, I've had family members. I actually had a brother who died in prison.
My condolences.
So who they didn't give medical care when they needed to give him medical care. But yeah, we definitely need to talk about this one day, in the future, talk about crime, re-entry, all the statistics. But you do have somebody in the room now.
I believe we have Dr. Cooper. Let's get her on.
So let me get her on and I'll bounce out.
Okay. Hey, Dr. Cooper.
How you doing today?
Alive and well, 10 toes down. Got no complaints. I won the lottery. I opened my eyes today. So
yes, and the sun joined us and everything today. It's been a little rainy, but we made it.
Yeah, no doubt. You know what they say, the rain brings flowers. So We needed it.
Perfect.
So I want to give you, because we've been speeding through with so much good content. I don't know if you had a chance to listen in while we were doing. I know you're a busy woman, so you got your hands in a lot of different things and you're helping a lot of people. So you could please introduce yourself to the audience and what it is that you're doing and what brings you to us today.
Yes, good morning and greetings from the University of New Haven. I am an associate professor of criminal justice, and I'm also the director of research at the Tau Youth Justice Institute. One of the things that I'm very excited to talk to you all about is the Connecticut Institute for Youth and Police Relations. I'm the co-principal investigator on what is a 3-year project that we're 2 years completed and moving into the 3rd year for now, that I've been working on with Dr. Lorenzo Boyd in the greater Hartford area. And we have been, piloting this program despite the fact that it's been the pandemic, and we're at the point where we have been having the officers out in the community for more than a year. And we are at the point where we really want to talk more to the community, make sure that we can raise awareness, make sure that we're getting feedback and input before we move into a second cohort. So I'm glad to share that we will be having 3 listening sessions. The first listening session will be in person on October 3rd at the Hartford Public Library downtown at 6 p.m. We will be serving pizza. We want you to come. We want to be able to engage with you. But the point there is we really want to hear from the audience. And so we have all types of ways that we plan to, whether it be open conversation or just different things that we can share about the program and prompt, the community to share back with us different thoughts that they might be having. Because we know that everyone can't make it to Hartford, and because we know this conversation is not limited to those who are just in that area or that region, we'll be also holding 2 Zoom listening sessions. And so we're pretty much spacing them out every 2 weeks. So the second Zoom session will take place on Thursday, October 20th, which is also at 6 p.m. And the 3rd Zoom session will take place on November 7th, which is a Monday at 6 p.m. In the Zoom sessions, as well as in the in-person sessions, the goal is to engage, whether that be with our officers, us as the, training staff and principal investigators, but also just us as a whole community. We feel like there's plenty of voice. We've conducted a survey in August where we invited people to share their feedback, and over 1,400 people between our May launch and our August launch gave their thoughts about what community policing looks like in the state of Connecticut. And we want to be able to share directly with the community and get feedback before we launch that more publicly. And we're just excited for this opportunity and this work. We hope people will come out and share their thoughts.
That is awesome. So you said you're going into your 3rd year with
Yes.
this focus. What success have you guys seen over the last 2 years? How have you moved the needle?
Well, I would acknowledge that this started in 2020. So we recruited in the greater Hartford area in 2020. And so we started to serve 14 officers in February of 2021. So just their commitment to literally 8 hours of training monthly, where we came together in person to discuss what it looks like to be in community with youth, to better serve communities themselves that might be marginalized or might, be having had different issues, of course, with law enforcement in the past, and just really trying to increase the conversation about restorative practice, about adolescent development, about partnerships, and just really broaden what is their perspective of what does it mean for people wanting to work with them and for them to be a resource to people as well. And then, when we look over the past year, that's 7 police units that we have served as they have been out serving the community. So one of the main concerns is that sometimes training is a one-off. Sometimes the support is not there in a substantive way. And so when we think about what it means to encourage people to be in place with our youth, this was a really mindful attempt to be supportive, because we know that police are going to see youth in the community. We know that we're having active discussions about what it means for youth to see police in various school settings. And so we feel like this gave our officers an opportunity to build community, not only with young people and youth serving organizations, but also with each other. So there's a broader network of understanding amongst themselves about how they might be working as a collective to better be informed about things that the young people care about, things that the community are saying, because, when you look at it, the community is the knowledge source. The community knows what's going on. The community knows all types of perspective about what the need is, but the community is not always perceived the authority. So then who is perceived as an authority? So then how do we use that leverage of police authority or power, or how do we use that to amplify and collaborate with that knowledge? When how do we make that more collaborative is what we've been seeking to do.
Awesome. I know we're out of time, but I have two questions to ask you, so if you could make them succinct. One is, have you guys had legislative wins with this work? And then two, how can we help you? How can we be of service? How did the Bridgeport community, the New Haven community, the Harvard community, the Divine Nine, how can we help in the progress of this work?
We can help me because I can send you an email so that we can help continue to blast out. I attend meetings. I continue to spread the word about our past work as well as our upcoming listening sessions. And when I think about what the wins are, we don't exist in that policy space for that purpose, but we are in collaboration with what has and is the Police Transparency Accountability Task Force. So then we have been assistive as they have done listening sessions, as they have made policy recommendations. We've been a part of making sure that we can continue to align our resources with youth, our resources with the police, our resources with community to make sure that we continue to get as much voice and representation in these spaces as we can.
Oh, that's awesome. Hey, I want to thank you for your time, Dr. Cooper. I'm proud of you. You are inspiring, and keep up the great work. I look forward to connecting with you. In fact, later on today, please hit me up because I do want to talk to you about some stuff.
Yes, I will. Thank you very much for this time. Good luck on the rest of your show.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Hey, Harry. You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. So I'm waiting for Ms. Tara Volpe to join us from Connecticut Against Gun Violence. I don't know if she's going to join us. I thought she was, but I just hit her up. And I know time is running short because we're gonna do a hard stop at 11:55, something like that.
Okay, so you could wrap up the show anywhere from 48 to 55. So if they don't show up, you could actually wrap it up at 48.
All right. So while we're waiting for her to show, I just sent you something. Are you able to share that with the folks?
Yeah. So there's a YouTube video.
Yes.
Okay, let me do that right now.
And it's just something that I think people need to know about. It's about the Pell Grant being expanded from the pilot that President Obama started to being fully recognized and fully expanded back into the prison system where folks can take advantage of the Pell Grant to get educated while they're in prison.
So I would have thought that that's something that was already in effect. So
Yeah, it was years and years ago, and then it was stopped.
okay. All right, let's listen to this. If I could get it, let's do this.
Many American colleges.
Can you hear
are
it?
gearing
Yep.
up a spike of interest in prison education programs. That's because incarcerated people will be eligible for Pell Grants starting next summer. It'll be the first time in 28 years that prisoners can access that federal funding for higher education. Stephanie Sy has this report for our series, Rethinking College.
28 years.
Pedro Rivera is a senior at Pitzer, a private college in Claremont, California, with a picturesque campus that Rivera has never stepped foot on.
It's not easy. Like, I put in the work and I obsess over the details.
Did we lose it, Harry? Harry, you muted, so I don't think we can hear it anymore.
Rivera has been incarcerated for 16 years. A few years ago, he was watching PBS when his ears perked up. It was a PBS series called College Behind Bars, featuring Bard College's prison initiative in New York State.
More than anything, after watching this program, that's what I wanted. Like, I signed up for everything I could, and finally someone saw something in me that I didn't see in myself, and they was like, we're going to give you this opportunity. That's the bigger issue.
43-year-old Rivera is now just a few classes away from his bachelor's degree. He's part of a pioneering program that brings students inside prison together with students from the outside. Professor Nigel Boyle runs the program.
Outside students, traditional students, will learn more from a class taught inside prison than they would in the same class taught conventionally. And similarly, the inside students will learn an awful lot. And it's this learning across often generational difference, as well as obviously the difference in legal status, that is very powerful.
The inmates pursuing higher education here get to live in a dedicated section of the facility, the prison equivalent of a college dorm, where there's an exchange of ideas and a common scholastic pursuit.
Section 308 is a special place. Textbooks and school supplies litter the bunks. About 48 incarcerated men here are enrolled in higher education courses.
Have students in this classroom that are part of the BA.
That number may be about to balloon. For decades, Pell Grants, federal financial aid to help low-income students pay for college, were off limits for incarcerated men and women. It was a vestige of the controversial crime bill sponsored by then-Senator Joe Biden and signed by President Clinton in 1994. But that ban is being lifted next year.
The reintroduction of federal student aid through Pell Grants is going to be transformative.
Margaret DeZerica is a researcher at the Vera Institute of Justice.
With the new law, all people in prison are going to be eligible for Pell regardless of the conviction type or sentence length, which is huge. In the criminal justice reform field, we rarely see this type of victory that is inclusive of everybody who's incarcerated.
Some 500,000 incarcerated people will be able to apply for a Pell Grant next year, aid that will allow them to earn a college degree before being released from a prison like this.
Research by the Rand Corporation has shown that providing prison education reduces recidivism by 43%. And DeZerica says it also addresses deeper inequities.
There's so many reasons that these college programs are important. There's a very strong argument to be made for racial disparities in terms of who is impacted by the justice system, who is left behind from our education system.
One of those left behind was Kenny Butler. He describes middle school in Watts when he was a kid.
A gang factory, pretty much. They had the LAPD there on campus in a middle school, which was unheard of before, but they actually had the LAPD at this campus.
Jumped by a gang when he was only 10 years old, the script was written for him.
A lot of people are forced to be a part of the gangs. They may not want to, but get jumped on enough times, you're going to be looking for protection from somewhere.
He was 12 when he first went to jail. In June of last year, at 48, he was released early from the California Rehabilitation Center, having spent 15 years in prison for the charge of aiding and abetting homicide.
Reading was the way to break up that time, break up the monotony of prison. So I just fell in love with it, start studying etymology and realizing the origins of words and things like that.
Butler became a standout scholar, earning his associate's degree from Norco College and graduating from Pitzer with his bachelor's degree. He was one of the first inside-out students.
A lot of us doubt ourselves in that space, if we're really educated or not. And so to sit inside a classroom with, with liberal arts professors and students from around the world, and it does something for you. It builds confidence in yourself. And so that's the difference, I believe.
He recently won a prestigious Fulbright scholarship for research on a Ugandan prison. He's never been out of the country. Prison administrators say stories like Kenny's prove what incarcerated people are capable of, if given the chance.
All of a sudden you learn that skill and you could catapult forward.
Shannon Swain runs the education department in the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation Office.
Correctional education is transformative, and higher correctional education is It's mind-boggling what you see in the classroom. So I believe correctional education is a big key component to public safety.
With Pell Grant money becoming available, colleges around the country are expected to pounce. Nigel Boyle says that can create a quality control problem.
There's more to a college education than just accumulating X amount of credit. So I think we have a concern that academic standards are upheld, and this is high quality bachelor's education that inside students are receiving.
So how did this make sense to you?
Oh, so we get a system based off a story.
If done right, a higher education is the best chance at rehabilitation, says Warden Glenn Pratt.
Some people might say this is a prison. It's supposed to be about punishment. Why should they get access to educational opportunities?
The reality is these men here at CRC are going to be our neighbors, and we have to provide them the successful tools to be productive citizens when they're released.
For most of my life, I've mostly just been around people with really similar experiences to me.
Pitzer sophomore Jack, who for safety is allowed to use only his first name, was impressed. It was his first time setting foot in a prison.
It puts me out of my comfort zone. I think nobody likes to think about systems of inherent injustice. Being here and hearing different points of view is really impactful to me.
It's about bringing the community inside these closed institutions, right? Equally. And equality is a big thing. So no one's response to a question is more important than the next person's. We all respect each other in that space.
Shared respect, and for Pedro Rivera, an opportunity to earn more than just a degree.
Prior to coming to prison and winding up in this situation in my life, I've dishonored myself and I've dishonored my family. And this is how I see I can bring honor back to my.
A name
Hey, Harry,
like those of
we can
many
pause
other
at this
athletes
juncture.
nationwide that will soon be written on a college diploma.
So I know we're about to end here, so I just wanted to get a quick couple of things in before we stop. The Hang Time folks in Connecticut Hall of Change with Charlie Grady presents Ali Sadiq Thursday, October 27th. This is a comedy show. Ali Sadiq is a formerly incarcerated individual, and this is helping support Connecticut Hall of Change, which nominates 8 individuals who are formerly incarcerated every year that have come out and made a difference in their community. You can get tickets at comedycraftbeer.com, and that's $40 a ticket. And if you have a student ID, it's $30. And then we also have the Youth Empowerment Summit, or YES, taking place October 9th in Bridgeport, the Connecticut Against Gun Violence Youth Council. So I'll get the information out to those who would like to attend that. And they are going to be, it's taking place in Bridgeport, but they're going to be busing kids and youth from as far as Hartford, possibly New London, New Haven, and possibly Waterbury if there's enough interest. So we'll get some information out on that as well. And then last but not least, there is, one moment here, there is the Delta Academy and GEMS youth program, and applications are available at nhacdst.org/program. Orientation will be taking place on Thursday, October 13th, 2022 at 6 p.m. And this program is for young women ages 11 to 18. And it's to prepare for participation as leaders in the 21st century for young women. And we'll get information out on that as well. I want to take this time for thanking the producer of the show, who makes everything happen, Mr. Harry Dross, and Mr. Tom Ficklin for giving me this opportunity to host the show and inform the community on things going on with the reentry population. And I think we're good, Harry.
As I got another rhyme, another rhythm for y'all to listen. I'm never quitting on my mission. I'ma roll with what I'm giving. Got some ambition, this new edition, filling positions. Looking at the void in myself and feeling what's missing. Better watch the way you going, better go in the right direction. In the moment you stressing, but you gon' be counting blessings. And I know that for certain. Keep on working, open curtains, haters swerving, cause they ain't ready for your final version. Whoa. I'm never gonna give up, fall down, I just gotta get up, yeah. Cause this is my road, let's camera